Bonfire Premier Cup Series. This is your admin, Kevin Kyle, and I am proud to introduce to you your Season 12 primary sponsor, Animal House Customs. Get your favorite iRacing League logo or anything you can dream of on any hat or patch. Animal House Customs has a stitch for every itch. And in order to scratch that itch, visit animalhousecustoms.com or you can call Animal House Customs at 985-222-8065. Once again, that's 985-222-8065.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Sunday and welcome to the Bonfire Premier Cup Series. My name is Zach Panzarella. I'm here with my tag team partner, Mean Gene Money, and we are at the Yard of Bricks, one of the most iconic racetracks on the planet, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, for some Sunday morning racing here in the BRL. And we have a lot of stories to cover today between the finale of our in-season tournament and just a handful of races left until we get to the playoffs. Tonight is a big one. How you feeling today, Mean Gene?
Oh, I tell you what, brother, we've got 2 races left in this regular season, and here we are at Indianapolis Motor Speedway to find out exactly who is gonna kiss the bricks, who's gonna drink all that milk. I only got one problem, Zach. This is not an oval.
This is not an oval. It's
What
a
is this?
rectangle. It's a rectangle, I think, Mean
I
Gene. And
failed math. This is not a thing.
I I only failed one math class, but it was geometry, and that's shapes, and I'm not good at shapes at all. I don't understand them. But this is a unique track, and it's very, very I don't really even know how to describe it besides just saying kind of one in its own. The only other place you'll find a corner like this is at Pocono because they modeled their turn 3 after this track. But man, this track really presents a unique set of challenges, especially in a stock car, Mean Gene. As we all know, this track gaining prominence being the home of the Indy 500 for open wheel cars. In the 90s, NASCAR starting to race here, and it's been polarizing. And one of the big reasons is because of the difficulty you have passing here, Mean Gene. Do you expect that to be a trend today in these next gen cars?
Well, I think passing is always at a premium. You think about what we saw last week at Darlington with those guys using the outside lane to pass, but jabronis were just pushing them up into the wall, even a faster car. So I think here passing, let's look at the cars coming out of turn 2 and turn 4, heading into those long straightaways. It seems like in practice, I saw a lot of guys getting tight and their cars would shoot down toward the apron. I think a nice slow rolling throttle is going to give you the speed to get by those fellas.
Yeah, I think so too. It really is about keeping your momentum here, not having to check up mid corner on corner exit because Mean Gene, that front and that backstretch are enormous. So if you lose your momentum on the exit of 4 or the exit of 2, you are going to be eaten up by the cars behind you. I think with that said too, and with the size of this of these straightaways, and what you probably didn't see a ton of in practice is how important the draft is going to be today as well, up and down those straightaways.
Yeah, that draft ever prolific, especially on these longer courses. It could make the difference between running a low 53 to magically finding yourself up in that 55 bucket. Losing the pack it can be detrimental as long as you got it looked like 3 cars in practice though. You could keep up that speed and not have too much of an issue. But you don't want to lose the speed immediately. But with this many guys, I mean, we're looking at 32 cars out here today. I think that we're going to run out of real estate. It looks like a big track, but you get that many guys out there, especially when you're trying to force a pass. I think it could get interesting real quick.
Yeah, and as we just saw with Joe Volpis on screen, like you said, me and Gene, it does appear like with your first look to be a very large track, but man, it shrinks quickly, especially on that front stretch where you have a wall to the inside of you separating you and the pit lane. Those wrecks can get violent there. I know we saw Brett Keselowski in a really, really violent wreck at this racetrack years ago, and it's because there really isn't a ton of places to go if there is a big pile up on that front stretch. So yeah, room becomes at a premium. Passing is always at a premium here, and the lines become rather dominant. Normally, the bottom line is what you see be dominant here in a stock car. and it's about again getting those runs and the exits of the corners to set yourself up to get to the inside of those cars before you get to the next corner. But we're gonna have to see how these guys handle it as the run gets on. I, the same as you, am anticipating people to get tighter as the run goes on,
Mhm.
as opposed to looser and be drifting up until that wall and smacking it like we've seen so many times this season at different racetracks, similar to this one. But let me tell you, Mean Gene, we have a lot to talk about today. I think the first thing we should cover is our in-season tournament, which wraps up today.
Oh boy.
Yes. So, and there it is on screen. It is between Kevin Kyle and Jared Kelly, two of our strongest drivers all season, and all the drama we saw last week really made it unpredictable, and it came down to literally the last lap, and these two guys reigning supreme in their respective brackets. You got any picks today? Any predictions between these two?
Well, if I just take a look at the point standings, you got Jason Landry that is third in points right now. And then Kevin Kyle is ninth in points. So, sure, they've both advanced through their brackets, but you just have to think about what both drivers have done individually throughout the season. 8 starts, 1 win for Landry, 5 top fives for Landry, 7 starts for 8 starts for Kyle, 1 top 5, 4 top 10s. Maybe things could be different, but just looking on the paper, you got to give the slight advantage to Landry here.
Yeah, I agree. Landry has been lights out all season, but really specifically the last couple of races, Mean Gene. He has been up front, controlling races. He ran into all types of bad luck last week and was still able to find a way to advance. So it's been hard to really pin this guy down and make it so he can't control and win a race. So I as well think Jared Kelly has to be the obvious favorite, as he would be against 99% in this league, if we're being honest right now. But Kevin Kyle is a worthy opponent, and he
Mm-hmm.
likes tracks like this. He's good at these flatter and faster tracks. We've seen him really, really fast at places like Auto Club. So I do have my eye on that 27 as well today.
Yeah, and you got to think about also the allies that you've made throughout the year. Who's going to make the decision? Who's going to push who? You talked about the draft, and if Kyle gets out in the front of him early, dirty air, such a factor. Another thing though for Landry, I think that he's got going is Landry was actually slighted by Kevin Kyle earlier in the week. Kevin Kyle had rented Indianapolis. And while Landry and the 251 were waiting at the track, Kyle shows up late, unlocks the gate, and then lets David Medina get out on the track first. So a little extra spice there when you think about this Landry versus Kyle showdown.
I've done that before, me and Shin. I've been the Kevin Kyle in that
I mean,
situation
the
before.
cops just held those 2 trailers, and you
Yep.
watched them wave Medina in. It was interesting.
It pays to have hookups like that, right? Got to
Mhm.
know people to be successful in this business sometimes, and that's what it takes. To beat Landry or Jared Landry, you just need. I'm sorry, Jason Landry. You just need extra time on the track sometimes, and you get that any way you can. Speaking of, it's not like it's deterred him because we have 2 minutes left to go in this longer 10-minute qualifying session. I believe the reason they're giving these guys a little bit longer time is because this track is enormous. 5 minutes does not even allow you enough time for any type of mistake, and you probably wouldn't have enough time. So they give them 10 minutes, and so still, as we see a few guys putting in times, but the majority of the field has, and up top is the 56 of Landry.
Yeah, no surprise there. Landry practicing all week long with his buddy Medina. Kevin Kyle also part of that group. We saw Jared Kelly running those practices. You can see all those guys with amazing lap times. Also saw them with those fast lap times in practice. Other guys you're going to have to watch out for, though. You can see Vulpes. He's up there as well in third. Rob Chowdhury running that 24. Joey Stiers. Joey had an interesting weekend at Darlington last week. He and Jason Landry got into it on the last lap, and that actually pushed Landry a little bit further back. Landry did lead the most laps at Darlington, but early incident with Kevin Kyle, late incident with Joey Stiers took Landry out of that. So Landry might have a little extra juice here today. Kevin Kyle, on the other hand, he's coming in here with the momentum of a second place finish last week at Darlington. So if momentum is a thing, you got to lean toward Kyle in that showdown. If straight up speed is a thing, perhaps Landry is your guy. But I just can't pick. I just can't pick between the two how it's going to go down.
Yeah, it's going to be really about how the race progresses because right now it looks pretty straightforward. Kevin Kyle not doing what he has to do in qualifying, putting it in 15th place right now. So, not the time I think Kevin Kyle was looking for. So, he's going to have to work through the field. And if we're being honest, 15th to first, especially when the other person's Jason Landry, he's going to need Jason Landry to have that bad luck that's plagued him all season. So, it's not like that's not possible. Like I just said, it's happened all season for Landry. It seems like every race he's dealing with something. So, I think it's going to take that based on what we're seeing right now. Not too much separation, I will say, with the lap times, Mean Gene. They are relatively close. So the speed difference isn't too dramatic, but that's a lot of cars you're going to have to get through.
Yeah, you can see sub 54 times all the way down through almost 24th
Yeah.
position. So any of those cars, once they get into the draft, they're just going to be able to cut through, yeah, all the way down to 25th. I can see sub 54 qualifying. Ooh, and there it is.
Yeah, we got our point, or I'm sorry, we got our qualifying results up here. And first place is Jason Landry, like we talked about, able to hold on to that pole. Second place belongs to our points leader, David Medina. Third place, Joe Volpis, like we talked about, bringing tons of speed to the racetrack today. Rob Chowdhury in fourth, and rounding out our top five is Jared Kelly.
Joey Stiers is going to start sixth here today. Seventh is Dylan Walterman, continuing his early and impressive run here in the Bonfire Premier Cup Series. Kyle Lanat is going to start eighth. Kyle won at Indianapolis in the Wednesday night MRL Xfinity League. That is our sister league. So Kyle does know what it tastes like to win. Justin Malarkey, speaking of a guy that knows what it tastes like to win, Justin Malarkey, the winner last week at Darlington, is going to start ninth, and your 10th place start is David Brenner, the number 22 Gulf Coast Racing Ford.
I know it tastes like to win here as well, I mean, Gene. I've never won here, but I know what it tastes like. It tastes like milk.
Does it taste like milk and bricks?
It tastes like milk. Warm, sitting in the sun, milk. 11th place belonging to Thomas Pierce. 12th place to DeMont. 13th, Sam Milliken. 14th, Kevin Kyle, able to improve by one spot there. 15th, David Owens. 16th, Zach Engel. 17th, Jose Medina. 18th, Edward Peltz. 19th, Michael Serra. And rounding out our top 20 is Matthew Smith.
21 is going to be the rookie, Ricky Mandela. 22, Matthew Serwick. 23, Paul Ferdiani. Brandon Shelton going to start 24th. Dennis Puckett, 25th. Richard Leclerc, 26th. Jake Achey, 27. Rookie Gerald Rose, 28. Michael Benton, rookie, 29th. Matt Schofield with no qualifying time, going to start 30. Tommy Fox and Stephen Neal rounding out the field. Bottom three cars choosing not to qualify here today.
I like how many cars did choose to qualify, though, Mean Gene. That says a lot about the confidence level, and those lap times say a lot about the ability of this field. Normally at a track like this, that I will say this intimidates a lot of people, and it's not often on the iRacing official schedule, which is where you're able to get that practice in around other cars and really know what it's like to race here. So I'm impressed by this field here. Everyone giving it a shot and putting in a time, which I think is also the reason why we see such a mixed up qualifying order, right? A lot of really, really fast cars in the middle of our field to start this race.
Yeah, you see all those 53-second qualifying times, so barely 0.5 of a second, and that is just the difference between how fast you can get back on that throttle coming in between 1 and 2 or coming in between 3 and 4. And early in the run, I think that is where you're going to see a lot of speed. But I think later in the runs, it's going to be, can you maintain that momentum coming out of 2 and 4? And will it send you shooting down onto the apron? I'm going to keep an eye on that. Look at all those cars. What a beautiful lineup here on a beautiful Sunday morning.
Yeah, everything is perfect right now. We got 300,000 NASCAR fans here to watch this race. The capacity at this track is just hard to fathom, me and Gene. It's incredible. Such an amazing facility. Look at that shot there. Great shot from our producer. But just one of the many, many bleachers that go around this racetrack and make it, I think, to my knowledge, the highest capacity racetrack in America. Correct me if I'm wrong. This place holds so many people. And man, when it's filled up, it's a sight to see.
Yeah, I think Penske would sell seats up in a blimp if he could.
Yeah, Roger would
to
absolutely do that.
Try to fit more people up into this thing. And speaking of the blimp, let's get a blimp shot so you can see from one of our sponsors, Only Farmers. And remember, you don't have to be lonely.
I haven't heard from them in a while, Mean Gene.
Yeah, they've been keeping it out. That's the Kevin Kyle sponsor. So a little shout out there to Kevin. Oh, here we come.
Pace car is in the pits, and here we go as they bring it over to the Geico restart zone. This will go off the flag, man. The Yard Bricks, we are green here in the BRL as Landry will lead them to the to turn one. Pretty even right now with Medina. They go on the flag. Medina actually getting a little bit of an advantage as they enter turn one. We'll see if Landry's able to clear him by the time we get to the backstretch.
Yeah, Landry's going to keep it down on that bottom, going down the backstretch, heading into 3. Landry close, dirty air starting to affect Medina's car. He's going to fall into line coming out of 4.
Yes, he is. That's kind of what we anticipated there, Mean G. But right behind them is a 3-wide situation. Vulpes in the middle. On the bottom there, we got Stiers, I believe that is. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the 55 of Jared Kelly. Oh, new paint job this week, looking good. Wow, 3 wide early. Vulpes getting the worst of that, all the way back to 5th place. And like we talked about, Mean G losing the momentum, forced the outside. Now Stiers can take him inside.
Yeah, Jared Kelly ends up cutting through that traffic, taking over 3rd. He brought the 23 of Stiers with him. Car is starting to spread apart, single file. Jason Landry is going to be your leader. Behind him, you can see the speed of David Medina, but Jared Kelly closing the gap. Look how well Medina rolled through that turn to extend that lead just a little bit, trying to close the gap. Top 2-3 cars looking strong, starting to pull away from the field.
Yeah, Landry already has this thing on rails, and it's not super surprising to see this being one of the tracks that Landry is really, really comfortable. We know he's a road course specialist that's coming over to Oval and mastering his craft here. And with that said, these are the type of tracks where you're going to see the road course guys really, really shine. These flat tracks that ask a lot out of the driver and a lot out of your technique and your ability to just control this race car. Jason Landry doing a great job. But speaking of Jared Kelly, he has closed the gap to Medina, breathing down his neck here for 2nd place.
Yeah, you can see lots of racing going on as some cars cannot get under rhythm. Other cars finding their pace quickly. Kyle Lynott putting a move on Justin Malarkey deeper in the field. Thomas Pierce making a play there. Oh, somebody's having a root beer break.
I believe that's a 12 of Michael. Oh, the 42, I'm sorry, of Michael Serra is there in the infield. This is not the Indy road course this year, my friend.
He's trying, though. Look at him.
He's determined. Okay, he's finally realized, oh, we're doing the oval there. We're doing the oval, okay. And the caution is out. And he tows. Maybe to get some clarification in the track map.
Now, I'll tell you what, that's going to save the Tommy Fox running in the 57 and Gerald Rose in the 251. Both of those drivers, for whatever reason, choosing to start from the pits. I think we had a picture of those two smoking in the boys' room before the race started, them not making the grid. So lucky break for Fox and Rose, as that's going to let them close up that gap. What a great looking paint job right there.
Yeah, I mean, I knew something was awry when I didn't see them at the drivers' meeting, me and Gene.
Yep.
So should have known they were in the trailer, up to no good, probably playing video games.
You know, you got to tell Tommy Fox, that Febreze just makes your car smell like smoke and Febreze.
I know. You know, he really changed when he changed his name from Thomas to Tommy. He really became a much more edgier guy. Thomas Fox was way different than Tommy Fox. Yeah, Tommy Fox didn't have a mohawk, or Thomas Fox didn't have a mohawk.
Aha. I think Rose is bald. He probably just like puts eyeliner on to look edgy.
Yeah, like the guys in Alkaline Trio.
Yeah. All right, let's look back at the front, though, at the fellas making moves. Jason Landry, he's starting to put that imprint now, isn't he? Got that lead, got his buddy Medina behind him, Jared Kelly closing the gap.
What's been interesting?
Chowdhury.
Would you say Landry's been faster than David Medina the past couple weeks?
That's really tough to say because of contact that the drivers have had with other cars. I think if we just saw them race straight up, which is what you do see in practice. Those two guys just love to get together in practices. It's 50-50 from what I've seen. I had the opportunity to watch some practice sessions here at Indianapolis, and they took turns winning with each other. But you add in the X factor of 28 other cars on the track, and things can happen. Oh, look, a lot of drivers choosing to come in and take this opportunity to top off that gas.
Yeah, interesting. I'm noticing that as well. I'm wondering if maybe a few cars with minor damage. Is
Oh,
that Kyle
tires.
Lynott?
I see right sides back there.
That's Kyle Lynott, isn't it? He was in our top 10, so that's a little surprising. And that looks like it's gas to me or damage repair. That definitely looks like damage repair, actually, with cars passing
like
him now.
DR right there.
Yeah, that were previously in front of him, or I'm sorry, behind him.
Yeah, Stephen Neal rolling out.
Also, in terms of Medina and Landry crashing during practice, that's the best time to do it. I mean, I always joke with in MRL Thursdays with Vulpes and Owens, because we'll race each other hard during practice and often at times wrecking each other. And I always just say, let's get out of the way now. Let's get out of the way now, so it doesn't happen during the race.
All right, so middle of the field has changed. The middle of the field pitted, and now the rear of the field is in the middle.
Yeah.
Interesting how. I mean, but why not? If you're stuck in in 23rd, 24th spot, why not come in, get you some more fuel? It gives you more options as you go. Hey, maybe take right sides if you were a little abusive on your tires. Tires, it's amazing how quickly they become a factor here at Indianapolis. At first, you don't think they matter, but all of a sudden, the thing starts plowing straight up the track. And maybe it is an issue going into 1 and 3, or they just get so tight coming out of 2 and 4. So tires that you don't think about could magically become the difference between avoiding the dirty air and being stuck right in the middle of it.
One thing that this track is also, or what that's so important here about this track, and I talk about this a lot, is obviously protecting your tires, excuse me, is incredibly important and the first step of long run speed. But I've seen so many times, especially at demanding tracks like this, flatter tracks and fast tracks like this, where precision is everything. It's not just saving your tires, Mean Gene. It's knowing how to drive with worn tires, being comfortable driving with worn tires, and knowing how to adjust your line once you have some life on those, or once you're losing life on those things. Backing up your corners, making sure the car is angled in early, especially here in turn 1 and turn 3. You need to have that thing pointed to the bottom of the racetrack unnaturally early, in my opinion. It feels early on older tires, but we're gonna really see who is comfortable dealing with those older tires, because this track can be a cheese grater. Those tires are going to wear, and you're gonna have to deal with that. So it's gonna be a matter of who can do it and who can still put down those fast lap times and not make those mistakes.
Well, guys in the front choosing not to come in for tires or fuel, so they need to continue to monitor temperatures and make sure that they're not getting these things warmed up a little bit too much. Hard to do that, though, when you're in the middle of a race, especially side by side. The speed we've seen out of Landry, Medina, and Kelly. And now Joey Stiers, he doesn't have to start back in 6th. He's up in 4th, so he's right on top of these boys for this restart.
Yep, look for Landry to really blast off during this restart, though, Mean Gene. Didn't have control on that first one, going on the flag man since it was the initial green flag of the race. This time he has complete control, choosing the inside lane, which is, I think, a good choice. Might as well protect that lane. But I think he should, and hopefully, in his mind, be able to clear Medina before they even enter turn 1 this time around.
Yeah, it looks like Michael Serra is called it a day, still in the pits. Kyle Lynott, he is going to be the last car in this lead group, 31st. So he'll have a lot of making up to do. Tommy Fox moving up through the field, Kerwick, and we're about to go green.
Yep, lining up to go green. Landry on the inside, going to be the control car here. Long straightaway, and Landry goes right in the middle of the zone and gets the blast off that I was saying that he was hoping for. Clears Medina. You'll probably see him drift up high here to give himself the angle he needs, and then straight back down to the bottom of the racetrack. There he goes. Medina, though, really not getting the jump he wants. Stuck up high as Kelly able to move to the 2nd place. Medina there with some great defense on Chowdhury, defending that 3rd place.
Chowdhury got side by side with Medina. Looked like that side draft and did slow them down a bit, but Medina finally got through. Chowdhury now battling with Joey Steyr. Steyer's looking down low. That's the battle for fourth. Up front, you can see Landry continuing to lead them into 3, and he's got Kelly right behind him.
Ooh, and you see Chattery did not really hit his marks there. Drifted up the track, and Steyrs was able to easily take advantage of that, and then some. Steyrs up to 4th place as Chattery now a few car lengths behind Steyrs. One mistake here, Mean Gene. It's going to cost you a position, if not more.
Got an 8-car breakaway right now. Landry leading it back to Malarkey in 8th. Behind them, you can see David Owens leading a second field of cars. Right behind Owens, Milliken and Thomas Pierce side by side, battling. Gonna give that front group an opportunity to run away. Pierce finally lets off. Pierce gonna fall in behind Milliken, but Owens leading that group, trying to close in on that lead group of 8 cars.
And also what you saw Piers do there was realize that he did not have the speed anymore on the top, and he backed that corner up so he can get back to the bottom mid-corner and defend from Jose Medina behind him. A great veteran move there from Piers. Oh, as he gets loose right there below the 17 of Milliken. That was a big moment. Able to keep it together and able to maintain his position, but you can see just how loose it is out there right now and just how easy it is to make a mistake that's going to cost you multiple track positions. As you also can see the top of your screen there, Kyle Lynott, who we saw have some early trouble but some great qualifying speed, already working through the field making passes.
Yeah, he's passing Dennis Puckett right there, trying to cut his way through that field. You can see the rookie Rose in the middle of that. Would expect Puckett to make Lynott to make quick work of him. He peeks down below and will make that move. Great racing here from front to back at Indianapolis. We're on lap number 9 as these drivers are battling in week 9 of our 10 ways regular season.
Jared Kelly to the lead. Jared Kelly makes a pass on Landry and takes the lead. And I believe we don't have footage of it, but I think something happened to Jose Medina as well. Me and Gene. Medina was racing with Pierre's in that 46 around 13th place. Now he is all the way back, I believe, outside our top 20. So lots of action all over this racetrack, especially up front. Jared Kelly, another guy. I mean, I started calling him the big 3 last week, and I'm going to stick with it, Mean Gene, because it is true. Jared Kelly, Jason Landry, David Medina just running the BRL right now.
Yep, we might have to start calling them the syndicate or something. You can see them spreading out even further. That group of 8 we had talked about now that has actually spread out so that the 8th place car is 3 seconds behind. Malarkey did move up to get into 7th, but you can see just how much space is between that first 4 cars. Kelly back to Steyrs, and then you can see Chowdhury and Volpus, Malarkey and Walterman. Walterman gets loose. Owens comes into the picture, and heck of a great run today by Thomas Pierce, running up in 10th position.
Yeah, Pierce is working through the field at a really, really quick rate right now, making quick work of all the cars in front of him, showing tons of speed, as is last week's winner of Justin Malarkey over there in 7th place right now. Malarkey doing a fantastic job so far, picking up where he left off last week. Someone I think you're going to have to look for as this race progresses. We always seem to see Malarkey show up and start racing for the win about halfway through this thing.
Looking a little back in the field, I'm looking at David Brenner back in 11th place. He's got Mark Dumont trying to close that gap on him. This is a battle for 11th place. Dumont has had some really good runs over the last few weeks. The French-Canadian showing great speed, and it's no surprise to see him once again here at Indianapolis, knocking on the door to get his way into 10th. Great shot of single-file racing here at Indianapolis.
It was almost 3 wide right in front of him there with Owens, Pierre's.
They thought about it,
603 of Walter, man. They did think about it. They figured it out before they got to the corner. But you can see right now, Pierce has a little bit more speed than that 11 of Owens, continuing his trek through the field. Got through Walterman in that pretty wild situation there. But, man, if you keep your eye on this 46 down these straightaways, me and Gene, I think it's a little bit of the draft and a little bit of just how good that 46 is right now. His speed off these corners is making up 2-3 car lengths down these straightaways.
Yeah, really nice tight group of racing. A little bit further back, you can see the 2 of Brandon Shelton leading a group. Shelton currently being shown in 13th. And then look at that tight battle behind him. Milliken, Angle, Peltz, Jake Shea, Matthew Serwick. Serwick now side by side
Oh,
there, the
man.
31 of Kyle and Jake Shea side by side. Kyle's got to cut through this. Currently finds himself in 18th if he wants to get back into this in-season tournament.
Our in-season finalist has gone nowhere quick, while his opponent is in second place, just chilling out right now behind Jared Kelly. Kevin Kyle has lost 4 positions from where he started this race, and he is not making any forward progress. He just got passed by Matthew Skurwick, one of our rookies, making his second appearance in this league. In front of him is Edward Peltz-Anaki, and man, it's not looking good for that 31 of Kevin Kyle right now. He needs to find a way to find more speed in that car, or this in-season tournament is not going to be looking good for him. He's going to need some bad luck from Landry.
You know, Kevin Kyle is quite the strategist. This could be him just trying to figure out tire wear, fuel run. Lots of different things could be going through the mind of Kevin Kyle at this stage of the race. He does need to start making his way through there. Dirty air will be an issue later on. But at this rate right now, looking how far behind the leaders is, he needs to have that caution to close that gap up.
Yeah.
The pits will become an issue, though. It's such a long exit out of pit road. Lots of opportunities to gain speed there, not to mention missing your pit or, the dreaded speeding, which occurs all too often.
And not just does he need a caution to get a bunch back up, me and Gene. I've compared this track to a road course in a few ways, or at least the disciplines that will make you quick here. And look who's in first and second place right now are 2 ringers. But what this place also has kind of in common with a road course, look at those deltas up top of our screen right now. 22nd place of Puckett, who's only 3 spots behind Kevin Kyle, is 13 seconds back already. We are only 15 laps into this race, and I believe only about 10 laps into this run, me and Gene, and these differences are already getting huge. You will be lapped before you know it. We have no guaranteed cautions for the rest of this race. You need to find a way to find more speed in that car and not get yourself a lap down, because then it's really over.
Yeah, definitely want to get away from the groups of dirty air. It's amazing how quickly drafting can turn into dirty air, side-by-side racing. All of that slowing them down, whereas Kelly and Landry up front having the advantage of just wide open track. Good in-car there of the Showboat as he's taking it down the front stretch, crosses that start-finish line.
Watch these turns, me and Gene. Look how loose and how much he's just working this thing. Oh, that's actually, look at this on the exit. Just kind of working that wheel, kind of doing that little zigzag motion, right? And look at just how much commitment it takes from Kelly to be as fast as he is right now. He makes it look easy, but man, it's anything but easy inside that car.
You know, another thing I like that Jared Kelly's doing, and I've heard other pros talk about this, is actually bringing the left side tires down under that white line. Going under that white line, for whatever reason, the traction, the grip on the track is a little bit better under that white line, and that allows that car to just get pulled right around, carrying a little bit more speed if you've got that angle correct coming in. And that's something I'm watching Kelly do lap after lap, is come down, touch that line, and just use that. And Puckett into the wall, still wide open. There we go. No,
oh, that is awful. That is terrible.
Well, at least he's still got it open there. There he goes. All right, Schofield taking a tow.
I don't know
taking a
what
tow.
possesses you to gas up when you're. I mean, that thing he didn't just not hold the brake. That thing gained momentum.
Well, that's what happens when you press the throttle, Zach.
Yeah.
That little pedal on the right.
Which is insane to. Okay, I'm not gonna go too hard on there.
All right, so it looked
That
like
was
he
crazy.
collected Rose and then Schofield as well.
Yeah, and I think he'll be. I would be shocked to see Kevin Kyle not have a conversation with him after this race.
There we go.
Our league admin. I'd be shocked. That is rule number 1. When you are in an accident, lock it down. Be predictable, and the best way to do that is to slam on the other pedal, the bigger one.
The clutch?
The bigger one.
Oh, oh, I see.
Unless you have the
Well,
Fantech wheel.
and look, you can
Or
see right there the crew
pedals.
talking about what happened. Yeah. I think when he
Oh,
made contact with the inside wall, the pedals got bent together and switched places.
Puckett's a great
Yeah.
guy. Obviously, nothing intentional, but
No.
just something got to keep top of mind. I know you're frustrated when you're in those wrecks. You just want to maybe don't know how bad the damage is. I don't know, but you got to lock it down. But
How about
okay.
here, though? Let's go to pit strategy.
Yeah, I think
I'm
everyone's
ready
going to
for
bring it
some new
down.
tires. If I'm one of
Absolutely.
the leaders, I want new tires, right?
It is time for new tires. And I love what you were saying, me and Gene, before that all went down. It is the angle is the most important. But yeah, there is a little bit of grip below that white line right there. It's a little, feels like a little like grip strip down there. It's really, really weird. But when you get that angle just right and it plants in there, ooh, it's a nice feeling. And here we go, like we thought. The whole field going to bring it in. And I think everyone's going to want 4 fresh ones. Whoever has the
Who
who is
did
that?
that? Look at
Oh,
Owens,
Owens and Volpus and
Lanot,
Lanot.
and
Look at that.
Volpus.
It's a
That's Gulf Coast
Yep,
Racing.
Gulf Coast Psychopaths. All right.
Wow.
Well, at least they'll have each other.
Are they all from Florida? What's happening?
Oh my goodness, they're all acting like it.
I mean, Lanot makes sense because that fella, he pitted. I cannot recall if
He pit
Owens
that
pitted.
first caution, but it was only from my side. I never saw the car jacked up. Well, it was jacked up in terms of physically, it needed damage repair, but it was never jacked up for tires. He never put tires on it. So this is old tires for all 4 of these guys, or all 3 of these guys.
No, top 3 choosing not to pit. They are teammates, so this is definitely some type of planned activity by these 3 fellas. Not sure if it was something that they had anticipated and organized before the race, or if this is something that happened on the fly after the race occurred. Great in-car cam there, brought to us by our sponsors. This race, of course, sponsored by Animal House Customs, able to do screen work, print work, shirts, vests, costumes, hats. All of your needs can be taken care of by Animal House Customs.
Yes, thank you to them and all these great cameras. Thanks to them. We got tons of gorgeous cameras around this racetrack. And you know who's just thrilled about this strategy right now and just super thankful?
Gerald Rose throwing his helmet down in the
oh yeah, definitely him.
pit area.
He's super happy as we see those 2 being separated, and both their dads involved, which is interesting.
Yep.
But Jared Kelly and Jason Landry probably just so happy with Gulf Coast Racing right now. Like thanks guys.
I mean, if you're not part of, look at the expression on Kelly's face. That is real, because what are those 3 boys thinking up in the front of the field?
Oh,
are they assuming, like, I'll lead a lap, then you can lead a lap, and then Lanot can lead a lap, and then we need to pit because our tires are garbage? Is that where we are?
Or we're going to be so slow that we're going to create that wreck that's going to allow us to put tires on, and then we'll maybe keep that track position.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's going to be a cluster, you know what, when we start this race.
Yeah, because they're going to be a second slower, I would think, and I don't know that Dirty Air is going to compensate for them. Speaking of not caring about track position, how about Kevin Kyle? He's going to bring it down and get a little top off on fuel yet again.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I don't know if I want to be in the middle of this field right now with what's about to happen. Another thing of note, too, is Landry did get Kelly in the pits. That would have been the lead of the race. Right now, it's just 4th and 5th, and I don't know where I'd rather be between the outside and the inside right now. I think I'd rather be Kelly on the inside. And
yeah, I want the inside so I can hug that white apron.
That's
and
2
maybe
slow
burn
cars
less
in front
tire.
of Kelly instead of 1 for Landry, though. But that's the top. It's a lose-lose, if we're being honest.
Well, after that interesting choice of strategy by Gulf Coast Racing, David Owens has moved up 13 spots to be in the second place.
Hard-earned
Going to be up there with Joe Volpus. Joe Volpus finally gets to lead some laps, get him some bonus points. Other hard chargers, Stephen Neal up 15 positions into 7th. So interesting to see these boys bouncing around. This strategy, though, Zach,
I'll say this. They are not going to be in the lead by the time I get to 3. I'll say that.
Wow. You don't think that 2 of them could block for the third?
No, we'll have a Jared Kelly, Jason Landry 1-2 by the time I get to 3. I think one of them will be out of the top 5. That's my prediction. Let's see.
I think you're right.
Well, pace car's about to pull off and say, good luck. Have at it, boys. I'm glad I'm not out there. and look for the wheel spin, too. Old tires, old track. Here we go as Vulpes is going to lead them to the green. Keep a close eye. I mean, this is going to be an organized restart, and it is. Vulpes with a great launch. Great launch. Clears them both. Really not the launch he was looking for Kelly. Medina may get Kelly as well as here we go into 1 and 2. Let's see how this works.
Coming out of 4 down onto that backstretch, Joe Vulpes is going to be in the lead. He's got a 3-car length over Owens. Owens with some speed now. Kyle Lynott. Boys have managed to hold on. Behind them, Landry and Kelly, neither one getting an advantage.
Wow.
Medina also the victim of a bad start. Going to be Joe Vulpes looking strong coming across that start-finish line.
Lynott staying loyal with Owens there, pushing him down the straightaway instead of trying to go to his inside. These 3 cars working together really well. I was going to be wrong regardless. These guys did a great job getting off the line and trying to maintain their position, but Owens tight on exit, loose, trying to regather it, losing tons of momentum. Oh, big trouble behind them. So far, we're keeping it straight. So far, it looks like we're okay, as Lynott's going to make the pass on the top of Owens and move to second place. Owens seeming to be struggling, but they both missed the corner. Look at that, Mean Gene, as Landry's going to say, thank you very much. I know you guys can't get down there. I'll take that. As Landry down the bottom there, he can make it stick. Owens is going to lose a lot of speed as he comes out of this corner. But man, with how difficult is the pass, tires are not mattering as much as I anticipated.
Yeah, dirty air, so powerful. You saw that. Oh my, Smith around. Looks like he got into it with the 33 of Paul Ferdiani getting him.
A fellow Italian. Never what you want to see.
Earlier, that smoke you showed us also, that was the 24 of Rob Chowdhury hit the wall, lost 10 positions when they kept going. But this one going to bring out the caution as we see the 33 of Ferdiani spinning.
And that was Kevin Kyle.
Oh, Kevin's day continues.
Oh, it's no good, very bad day.
But hey, he's got more gas than everyone else.
He does, but he also has more damage than mostly everybody else now, too. Not what Kevin Kyle needed right there. But man, you know who did get what he needed, and that was Joseph Vulpes. He had about a second and a half on the field when that caution came out. So Vulpes, wow.
Yeah.
I am quite impressed with the lap times he was able to put down there. Landry was on his way up. He had already gotten Owens. He was going to get Lynott in the near future, but it was going to take some time, maybe 5-6 laps to get Vulpes. So I wonder what these Gulf Coast guys do here. Was that enough for them to want to keep running with this? Or did they get their fix and now they want tires?
It's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Lynott ended up moving up, staying in second. Owens dropped to fourth, so that did open the door a little bit for Landry. Landry will be starting on that second row. Medina Kelly behind them, and Stiers and Thomas Pierce, Malarkey Brenner. So those names pretty much constant. Oh.
You see Landry desperate for those Gulf Coast guys in front of him to pit, trying to fake them in, trying to bait them into the pits. Didn't work.
Lots of pretending.
I can't blame Landry for that.
Looks like Zach Engel actually going to be the first car to go in back in 20th. And then behind him, all those boys say, hey, why not?
Oh, might as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, I'm sure, have damage. That stack up seemed to collect quite a few cars. But all right. Just because I don't know how many more cautions we're going to get today. Mr. Producer, do we have our stream photo available to us? Maybe, maybe not. We'll find out. Our producer's gone out of action. We are just out here on our own, Mean Gene.
It's flying by the seat of our pants.
Imagine if he left us with controls, the horrible things that would happen.
Oh, no, I think he knows better than that.
Oh, yeah, I'd hope he does. But I will say...
We're on Exciting Cam.
We probably are. We will be streaming the NASCAR Cup Series race after this at the Circuit of Americas. Been an exciting... Oh, he's back. Been an exciting couple of days. Right there we go. On the right side there, you'll see the QR code you can scan. Scan that QR code. That will take you to the Vortex Racing Network YouTube channel, or just use that website address right there, youtube.com/@Vortex Racing Network. But yeah, today hanging out with me, Mean Gene, Jared Kelly, Kevin Kyle, Dalton Geyer. I don't even know who else is coming. Oh, Buddy Solly. We're gonna have a good group today. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna be giving away some merch. If you guys participate in the chat and are right about probably some live trivia we do about what's going on in the race and predictions. And if you're right, we'll give you some free shirts. I got some VRN shirts, me and Gene. They're made, so I'll show them off during the stream.
Hey.
Yeah, they're sexy. I'm not gonna lie. And it's gonna be another great time. These past 2 weeks have been so much fun. Definitely the most fun I've ever had watching NASCAR races. So I can't wait for another one. And today's gonna be a crazy one with all these road course ringers and the different like speeds we're seeing from different teams. Like 2311 locking out the front row in qualifying. Connor Zilic winning yesterday, making his Cup Series appearance, or I'm sorry, debut today. Lots of good stories today in this Circuit Americas race.
Well, Joey Stiers and Justin Malarkey, a little bit of confusion down there. Those two cars almost making contact as we see everyone grinning back up, getting ready to take this thing green. Those two cars got awful close to each other.
Maybe they're bored after all the cautions. That's what starts to happen when they start to pile up.
I'm never that bored. Not bored enough for you to bring your car that inches from me.
Oh, yeah, I get that. Well, now you have Landry on the inside lane in third place. I wonder what's going to happen this restart. What you could tell in that last restart is that Gulf Coast had definitely negotiated something before they went green. Vulpes with the launch he needed, and Owens and Lynott going at the exact same time. So a perfectly executed restart there by Gulf Coast last time. Let's see if they can do it again.
Maybe they did one of those 3, 2, 1. Do we go on one or do we go on go?
I was going to say that's
And
always
Vulpes
easier said
went
than
on
done.
one.
I go on the wrong one all the time. Me and Dalton will try to do it, and we got to one race where we screwed up so many times. We're like, you know what? Let's just not communicate, and I'm sure it'll go better. And it ended up just going better on the restarts.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Gold
Instinct.
Coast does it.
Go on instinct.
Yeah, I agree. Lynott's amazing at it. I've seen Lynott get so many brilliant restarts working with his teammates. He really seems to have it down.
Speaking of instinct, look at that number 2 of Brandon Shelton. He's up 13 spots into 11th. I'm going to keep an eye on that, too, just to see.
Yeah,
if he can
Shelton's been
continue
good.
moving up. And Thomas Pierce still looking strong up there. One of his best runs this season up in 7th.
I want to shout out Matthew Skirbick as well. His second run in this league, he's up quite a few spots, and he's keeping it clean at a really difficult racetrack in 15th place right now, doing a great job.
Beauty.
Here we go. Pace car about to pull off as once again we still have 3 cars on older tires than the rest of the field. And that 56 of Landry are going to have quite a bit more speed than them. We'll see what happens here. This time Vulpes takes the outside. Another great launch from Vulpes, and Owens is gone. Absolutely gone. Look at where Landry is compared to Owens. That is insane.
Wow, what a great synchronized start. You can see Lynott on the inside in second. Owens is going to let him fade right up behind them. You can see Kelly Medina trying, but they're blocked up in dirty air. Landry, Stiers, and the 46 of Pierce. The 46 and the 23 side by side. Nothing good can come out of that. But it is Joe Vulpes leading him into 3.
Yeah, Vulpes once again doing a great job making it. Oh, it's Kelly and Pierre's almost get together there. There's a little blink happens there from the 23 of Stiers at the worst possible time. That always seems to be when the blinks are, when you just really don't want them to. As you see the 11 of Owens really struggling to maintain the inside of the track, and you're seeing the 50s of Landry able to get that momentum on the exits of these corners. I don't think he's going to send it in here. And look at in front of that, Lynott gets a good run, but pushes Vulpes in the corner instead of trying to go below him. These guys still trying to work together the best they can, and look at Owens, misses the corner entirely into the wall, and there goes Landry past them, there goes Medina past them, and it's going to be Kelly as well. 3 spots lost there for David Owens.
Up that clean air up front, not making it quite the effect of having older tires, but you can see David Owens definitely a victim. Older tires immediately.
That's
Speaking of victim, there's Kevin Kyle. He's about to go a lap down. He had an extended pit stop trying to get repairs on that thing, and now he's got the field bearing down on him like an asteroid in the prehistoric times, and he's a dinosaur watching it coming in.
Kevin Kyle begging for a caution right now, wants to be able to drive back around, not go a lap down, and virtually put his race in a really unwinnable situation, as this might help him out here. Here goes Kyle Lynott to the inside of Volpis, going to look for the lead in his teammate, and it looks like Landry's going to want to follow him through, and you can see Kelly and Medina as well trying to close that gap and just really make it so Volpis loses all his positions at once now.
David Medina falls in line behind Joe Volpis, side by side. Now Medina peeking down low as Landry takes it up high in front of Volpis. Kyle Lynott, no more teammates to protect you. He's naked and afraid as he's got those Fokum guys bearing down on him quickly. Now Kelly's going to get in underneath Joe Volpis. Volpis on older tires needs to figure something out. He's got to get back down into that apron, get closer to that white line. That's where that traction is. Thomas Pierce now coming in. Joey Stiers. Volpis is in full degrade as these cars with newer tires beginning to eat him alive.
Seeing Lynott start to do the IndyCar, a little breaking the draft strategy.
Oh, Joe, where are you going?
Just does not turn. That 07 just did not turn in the slightest, straight up the racetrack. And I was going to say that, Mean Gene. It's not that Volpis needs to get back to the bottom. I just don't even know if it's possible with how much speed he'd have to scrub off that race car to get it to the bottom of the racetrack. It just doesn't want to do it. They want this run to be over as quick as they can. Everyone besides Lynott is doing a fantastic job. He clearly loves this racetrack. Like you said, able to get the win this week on Wednesday in Xfinity. Another really difficult race car to bring around this track. So that set of skills, very similar to what you have to do in the next gen to get it around here. And he's doing a great job showing his expertise here. But that 56 of Landry, fastest car all day, breathing down his neck again. Pressure tires, wants that lead back.
Jason Landry, if he can get by Kyle Lynott here, I think we're going to see Lynott suffer the ill effects of old tires and dirty air. It happened to David Owens when he got loose, went high, trucked up the track. Joe Volpis trucked up the track, became a victim. This in-car cam, you can see already Lynott starting to wiggle. If these Fokum boys get by him, we're going to see Lynott fade straight backwards. Meanwhile, there's a Fokum guy in front of Lynott, going to make it even more complicated. Lynott now on the outside. Look at the speed of Landry trying. Lynott holds his position. Exciting moves. Oh, Pierce
Wow.
and the 23 of Stiers get together again. These two boys have touched twice. You know where I come from. You touch like that 3 times, you're going steady.
And then in front of them, Medina and Landry were going pretty hard as well. I'm sorry, Medina and Kelly, as Kelly was able to get the position on Medina as well, blocking going down the front stretch by Stiers and Pierce. Those two are going for it right now. I'm not sure if they're too happy with each other as old man Stiers misses the corner bad. Pierce into him. Contact there. Stiers in the wall, down the track, and oh boy, these guys. Oh, this isn't looking good, Mean Gene.
Look at Justin Malarkey. He's like, hey, boys, I'm a Darlington winner. You can't be doing that in front of me. You got to let me go by. I'm a winner. You're not.
Let me go, and then you guys continue to figure this out.
Yep, and right behind them, you can see Mark Dumont continuing his great streak of runs recently up into 8. Joe Volpis, David Owens, 9 and 10.
Stiers gets into Pierce.
Why not, boys? Why not? Keep rubbing it. Keep rubbing it. See what happens.
Stiers was trying to turn him there. There's no two ways about it. He got straight into him.
He was just pump drafted him. He's just pump drafted him in the turn.
Yeah, no better time to bump draft someone than the middle of the corner at Indianapolis. Definitely.
Yeah. Meanwhile, up front, look at Kyle Lynott. He is still trying to hold off these hungry wolves. Just getting after him. Lynott, he has held this lead without the protection of his Gulf Coast crew for the last few laps. The clean driving of Landry has to be commended at this point. You know you're faster, you've got better tires, you've been hotter recently, but yet you want to do it with class, poise. But at some point, you might have to give him the Joey Logano and just go right on by.
These hits that Stiers is delivering to Pierre's are unreal. Sorry, I don't even know what to look at. Landry looking at the inside of Lynott there. It looks like we may have a pass for the lead right now.
He can't do it.
All right.
That dirty air is just
all right, go back to that 23
really
and that 46.
Landry.
Here we go, side by side with Stiers. Looking to the inside of the 46 and big check there. These two are not happy with one another. Like, this has gotten ugly, very, very ugly. And that, I think, for now will be the end of it, as Stiers just shot him up the track, body slammed him. And like you said, Malarkey the whole time, like, boys, for the love of God, figure it out. But right now, Steyer is able to get away from that 46 Pierce. Keep your eye on that for the rest of the race. If those two cars come together again, they are not big fans of one another.
Yep, and now he's got the more consistent hand of Mark Dumont piloting the 14. I'm sure that it will calm down back there now with him racing side by side with Dumont. Justin Malarkey still ahead of that group. Oi. Meanwhile, though,
Landry.
up front, look at, here it is. Can he make it happen? And look how he hits that wall of dirty air, and I think he's got him.
He's got him here. He's going to be able to clear him on the exit. And it looks like Kelly's going to want to fall through the knot as well. And Medina doesn't have the door quite open enough for him to squeeze through, but it was enough for Kelly to get it as well. So Kelly and Landry working together to get past Lynott. But man, hats off to Kyle Lynott. That was a masterful job of tire management and air control and everything you have to do to lead these races for as long as he did.
Well, we'll see how long Lynott can stay with that lead group now that he is the victim of dirty air. Medina Steyer's directly behind him. You can then see a gap of about 15 car lengths back to Malarkey, Pierce, and Dumont. Behind them, it's Brandon Shelton, and then single file, Brenner, O'Shea, Serwick, Chowdhury, and Stephen Neal moving up through the pack. The 45 of Stephen Neal up 18 spots into 14th. The red, white, and blue Chevy driver has got to be happy. Zach Engel behind him. Zach, a recent winner in the Truck Series over in our sister league MRL.
Another thing of note right now, me and Gene, I really think Lynott was holding up that group a little bit and not allowing Landry to get to the 31 of Kevin Kyle. That is over now. Just look at how quick how small that gap has gotten. You look in front of Landry and he can see Kevin Kyle right in front of him in his windshield. And that is a car. I mean, if there's one car that Jason Landry wants to put a lap down in this field, it is that 31 of Kevin Kyle. So he's going to do everything he can to get to that 31 and put him that one lap down and make this race more difficult for him. But that lead for Kyle has absolutely evaporated since Landry got past Lynott.
Look a little bit further back. You can see down goes Lynott to Medina. Medina finally able to make the pass, brings Steyers with him, and now Lynott suffering the same fate as his teammates earlier. Old tires and dirty air means backward progression. Landry now accomplishing what he needed, and that's to put Kevin Kyle a lap down. Kyle in 27th spot would be the lucky dog candidate, but he's way back. Right ahead of them, David Owens and Joe Volpus. They chose to pit. I'm imagining why they're so far back, but Owens and Volpus would be next on the list of cars to be overtaken by Jason Landry. Right now, Owens and Volpus 51 seconds behind the leaders.
Yeah, it's a bad situation, getting worse there, having to pit under green. If that is what happened there, the only silver lining is that they're on the fresher tires now, and they can make up some of that time. But nonetheless, to have any real chance of winning this race or doing anything meaningful with it, they're going to need a caution. As yet, look right behind them. That's Jason Landry. So they should have enough speed to keep Landry behind them with those fresh tires. But nonetheless, this is not what they wanted. And just like you predicted, Mean Gene, Kyle Lynott is kind of on a free fall since losing that lead. It is kind of interesting as a driver how much that can just take the wind out your sails when you lead for that long on those old tires, and then when you finally lose it, you don't lose motivation, or you don't notice you are, but it's just something about it, right, Mean Gene? It just makes it more difficult. But Kyle Lynott also, and you know what I'm also thinking, Mean Gene, he's bringing it down right now. This might not just be a tire thing that they're sick of the tires. This may be a fuel thing. These guys, we're on lap 38. I would not be surprised if they're completely out of fuel.
Yep, and also wonder how far they're pushing it to make fuel runs later. So this still could be scheduled fuel pit stops for Gulf Coast Racing now that they're out of rhythm with the entire rest of the field. We'll just have to maintain an eye and be vigilant about what their strategy could be. I'm going to go ahead and take a little peeky poo at Lynott in the pit while y'all continue with this main race action, just to see if Lynott's going to take tires. And he is. I see left side up now.
So I want to shout out 10th place, number 520 of He's on my team, and I should really know how to say his last name. I think it's Sterwick. But
Berwick
he
sounds great.
Yeah, it does. He's done a fantastic job today. He started around 17th, and he's just slowly working his way through the field. We saw him in his debut race last week, and he just did what he had to do at a really, really difficult track to survive, finishing a couple laps down, but nonetheless putting in all the laps that were available to him and not really getting in anybody's way at a track where space is limited. But here he comes today at a track that, if all things considered, is not that much easier, Mean Gene. This track is no slouch at all, and just doing a fantastic job, running top 10, keeping that 520 clean and looking good. So hats off to the rookie. We have just seen such great performances from our rookies this season.
Yep, looking back in the field, guess who's back on the lead lap? That's right, our hero Kyle Lynott. He's him, Owens, and Vulpes struggling, but still alive. Kevin Kyle still being shown as the first car lap down, so a caution could get Kevin Kyle back into this thing. Up ahead, Landry continues his assault. Kelly behind him. This isn't a road course. What are we watching, Zach?
I know, right? I told you, Mean Gene, something about this racetrack. One thing to note about the Gulf Coast guys of Lynott, Owens, and Vulpes, if you want to put the camera on them super quick, they do have a good situation in terms of where they are. They're together, so they get to at least draft together, right? And protect that speed that way, because that a group behind them of Landry, Kelly, and Medina, they certainly are drafting together. They are single file, just putting in amazing laps right now. So at least they were able to put this or make this happen to where they can work together on these long straightaways.
In their third teammate, David Brenner, currently running in ninth, must be questioning their strategy at this stage of the race. Like, you know, guys, we could be in the top 10 if we would have stuck to the plan. With fuel, yes.
Yeah. It's so true.
It's still good racing all the way throughout. You can see a lot of single file action, though, coming from about 10th place back. Gets exciting around Neil Waterman and the lap car of Kevin Kyle. Stephen Neal running just a little bit faster than Dylan Walterman. Going to be interesting to see. But as soon, Zach, especially on the older tires, it seems like there is a wall preventing the cars from getting by. If you can get to that side draft position and be on the inside, you've got a good shot to make that pass or at least drag race to the next turn. But there is a wall if you don't have solid roll momentum. Watch this right here. Chowdhury is in great position. He's going to draft all the way down. He's behind the 77 of Jake Ashea. But watch what happens as soon as you go into this turn. He gets next to him, and then the wall. He hit the wall right there. That dirty air, as soon as you hit it, it's like a wall that just stops you.
And then if the tires
were break through that wall?
If the tires were a little bit fresher, he could have kind of steered the car downwards and tried to get lower and not dealt with that so much. But I think the only thing is you got to resist that temptation to drive it in deep. You have that big run with the draft that's getting you close to him, but you need to be backing up the corner more than the car in front of you so you can go lower down that corner and try to have some drive-off speed. Because you're right, if you just keep matching what the cars in front of you doing, you're going to hit that wall of air and just keep doing the same thing lap after lap while really putting your tires through a lot through that dirty air.
Or you just go completely insane and don't pit what everyone else does and make your own strategy.
Yes, or you do that.
Yeah, not the way I would go, but good for these guys.
Oh,
all
yeah,
right, so again, I'm watching this up and down the track as these guys just seem to hit the wall. Look at the 14, holds the lane, and that's the way to make the pass. Watch the car go way up the track. I think that's Brandon Shelton right there in front of him. He goes all the way up the track, and now they're side drafting, going back here into turn number 3. That's Shelton on the outside, side by side with Dumont.
Shelton doing a good job there, putting the squeeze on, but he wasn't able to there, missing his marks. This is probably what Dumont wants. Almost able to clear. Not quite. Now just try to get all the way down, prevent the side draft, and then get back up.
But he's clear that dirty air.
Exactly. Get close to that too, to give himself the best angle of the corner that he possibly can, and just try to hug that bottom line. But Shelton doing everything he can to squeeze him and not give him any exit speed, and he's doing a great job of that. And that really is making this pass difficult for that 14 right there on the bottom. Here we go again. I think Shelton's going to be able to defend this pass here. Yes, he is.
Yeah, I think David Brenner saved Shelton 2 turns ago. He gave him a little bump, and that gave Shelton the momentum he needed to continue that assault. But don't count Dumont out of this thing. Dumont is going to ride in that draft, find his opportunity. Those moves that Shelton made definitely cost him some tire wear. So if Dumont has a little bit of tire left in that 14 Chevrolet, he'll be able to close that gap, especially if he can get a bump from David Brenner in the 22 right behind him. Matthew Sherwick coming in loves seeing these boys battling because that'll let him get into the draft, and then he can close all the way up to the Brandon Shelton. You're looking at 7, 8, 9, and 10 right there.
So we're seeing a lot of single file racing as well, and you'd think that would indicate that we're not getting a caution, but man, I'm seeing these guys get really loose, particularly on the exits of 2 and 4. Really gathering it back up as they almost hit the wall and almost spinning back down the track. We saw it happen to Skerwick a couple laps ago, and we also saw it with the 14 and 22, getting a little bit loose on the exits of these corners. So I think one of the reasons this racing is getting a little bit more on the tame side is because these guys do not have a ton of trust in their cars anymore and are really just racing the track right now. So it's still, I'd be hard-pressed to want to be in the early side of this pit cycle, as I think we'll be approaching it relatively soon, as I feel like this caution could still come at any moment now.
Well, looks like Medina finally snuck by Kelly back there. Medina now being shown in second place. Kelly now being the victim of that dirty air. He's trying to close the gap. Draft will let you get close, but as soon as you dip your nose down, you hit that wall. And veteran drivers like Jared Kelly, like David Medina, they're not going to let you get under them. They know that that pretty much is a death sentence here, and they're the ones handing out the judgment, not receiving it.
Nice thing for Kelly is that big 3, once again, with just a massive gap on the rest of the field, a full 4 seconds back to the 4th place of Stiers. So they can really just figure out amongst themselves in that dirty air. I don't think it's going to do too much to Kelly right now, or he has too much to worry about. As Malarkey as well, another guy, last week's winner. Like I said, around the halfway point, which is where we're going. Oh, Stiers bringing in the pits here, actually. Joey Stiers, our first one to bring it down into the pits, and behind him is Skerwick. Get that thing locked down, Skerwick.
I think that's a great move by Stiers because he had lost half a second to Thomas Pierce, who was running right behind him at that point. And I think Stiers just not having Pierce on his tail is probably a good move at this point in the race.
I agree. He was losing time, and then behind him was Pierce, and we know how that's worked. I'm looking at the front end.
Let me look at my checkboard. Okay, 23 hit the 46, 46 hit the 23, 20. Yeah, the 46 owes the 23 one. So.
Oh yeah, look at the front end of the 23 real quick. It is hilarious.
Does it have white paint all over it?
Look how high up the hood is. That's all Pierce right there. Yep, it's
smiling.
Oh, I love it. That thing has been the reward today, but I like that too. Early side. There it is. There's Owens and Volpis and Lynott with him. That's pretty fascinating to me. He's going to cycle out behind that group. So that strategy, if we stay green, may be beneficial for Gulf Coast Racing. But Stiers, far older tires now than that group.
Yeah. All right, down in the pit, other takers. Looks like Mark Dumont now rolling. Gonna go ahead and take this opportunity to get some fuel. I'm gonna keep an eye on that 14, and right sides are up, and looks like
Owens on the wall.
Gonna take left sides as well. So tires are an issue. More and more drivers, when they come down, not even a question. They're just gonna take these tires.
David Medina bringing it down and put 4 freshes on it. You can see that Owens there was struggling as well on those older tires, smacking the wall on the exit of 4 there. So keep an eye out for that. That Gulf Coast Racing team, man, what would a caution do for them right now? That would be huge.
Yeah, that's maybe one of the things they're counting on. They knew that straight up they were not going to get past those Fokum boys and Jared Kelly on strategy and skill alone. They needed a little bit of strategy, a little bit of luck, and that's what they're playing for. And here's the part. They already did the strategy. Now they're looking for a little bit of luck, as we can see more and more action down
I'm
in the
assuming
pits.
Landry will bring it down here. Is Landry exiting 4 right now? Yes, he is. Landry gonna bring it down, not wanting to give an extra lap of advantage to his opponents behind him.
Yep.
Behind him is Kelly, Malarkey, and Pierre's. Pierre's very, very loose on exit or an entrance.
Locked it up.
Wow, locked it up, got sideways and gathered it back up. Impressive job.
Yep, lots of cars bringing it down
This
now.
is
Look at
everybody.
all the activity down there. And meanwhile, you know who's not going to bring it down? That's the 47 of Zach Angle. He's like, hey, let's lead a lap. Let's get some points.
Is there a
As
car
the
on the road course right
47
now?
Chevrolet bringing it around.
There's just a car on the road course.
Why not?
Second time we've seen that happen today. These guys, yellow is out. Yellow is out. Oh, no. Oh.
That is absurd. Who was in the course? Who was that?
Is that what brought out the yellow?
So Michael Benton goes onto the road course. That brings out the caution.
Oh God, Kevin
I'm
Kyle.
gonna get a good friend of mine to follow the money and see if any Digicoin might have gone Michael Benton's way.
Jeez, dude. Like, I bet between the race he's had and the admin responsibilities he has in this league, Kevin Kyle's head is boiling right now.
Yep.
Like,
They're gonna have to do a little bit of investigation.
what are
Hold
you
on, I'm
guys
receiving
doing?
news about the investigation. It's totally fair. We looked into it. It's all good. All right. Well,
no,
there it is.
no, this is not good. This is not right.
No cheating.
No, Michael, no, this is so not right.
What are y'all watching? Don't watch. Your blood pressure is gonna go up.
Oh man, I mean, just two things that I've seen that would not make me happy. As as Medina gets into Jared Kelly under caution, make that 3 things. I don't know why
Look
these
at
boys are
that.
going so slow.
Oh, and another little bump to 54.
Kelly and Landry nearly to it. They're waiting for. See, this is the problem when these cautions come out in the middle of a cycle. It is just so bad. Oh no!
Right,
Oh
so-
no! Oh no! Oh no!
What is? Oh no!
Oh no!
I am glad I'm not the admin. That is terrible. Dumont gonna get towed.
And
Took
that
out
that-
Landry.
bull is how we're gonna decide our in-season champion. Oh no! Sorry, it's not Landry. It's Kelly. Oh my God, that is so bad. That is so bad. What were they thinking? What was anyone in that situation thinking? That was just as much on
I
Landry as it was on
imagine
Dumont.
those 2 cars looked like they were blocking the road.
Yeah, that was horrible.
I'm not
like-
sure where Dumont could have gone.
I don't know what anyone in that situation was thinking. All 4 of them.
That was insane.
That was horrible.
All right.
You had the track blocked. Oh,
Wow.
guys
All right.
have
So.
relatives.
All right, so we're talking with the track officials. They're saying that the 2, what appeared to be slowed cars, were making their way up the track to allow the pits to be open for the leaders, and Dumont came around at speed on that high line. Just
Mean Gene,
a
these guys,
lot of moving parts.
they have relatives. They have tons of tools that tell them where the cars on the track. They have radios that talk to one another. That is inexcusable from
Well,
everybody.
you know who else has relatives, and that's Mark Dumont, and he's going to call his relatives up because somebody's going to pay.
Oh,
There will be blood.
yep. There is a button that. Okay, I'm gonna move on from that one. That was
All right,
ugly.
so we thought Joey Stiers was having a good time with Thomas Pierce, who's also a Canadian, by the way. You got to quit poking the bear. I'm just saying. They'll come after us again and burn down the White House. So you do not fiddle with the Maple Leaf Syndicate.
Well, this race is wide ass open now. I mean, Gene, I don't know who's in the lead. I don't know who's in the lead lap. I don't know who's wrecked. I don't
Well,
know.
we say it's wide
anything.
open, but think of it this way: Medina is still fast. Kelly still fast. We've seen the speed of Thomas Pierce. the speed of Joey Stiers. All those guys you got to take into consideration. Other guys up at the front right now, Milliken, he's up, and Zach Angle, but I think that's more being the beneficiary of that late caution. Tommy Fox up in 7th again because of the late caution. Brandon Shelton's been running great. Who knows what he could do with open track in front of him.
Wait a minute. Medina's taking the wave around here, is he? No, he's not. Okay, I'm trying to figure this out. It looks like it's Medina, Stiers, Angle, Milliken, Kelly, Malarkey, Fox, Pierres, Brenner, Shelton.
Yeah.
Okay, there's our top 10.
There you go.
Wow.
So, again, Medina running fast all day. Now he's got the clean air. Joey Stiers on the outside. Joey's been to war already. He knows what it feels like to rub and get rubbed. He's in a great position. The X factors are Angle and Milliken in that second row behind him. Those guys have not been up front. So we'll see.
Tires.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to see what those two do. And then you got Jared Kelly and Justin Malarkey right behind them. So let's see if Kelly can cut through this track. And let's see also Thomas Pierce now in 8th. Can he cut through and make something happen?
So oldest tires in this situation here are Medina and Stiers with 5 and 7 respectively. Behind that is Angle and Milliken with 0 laps in their tires, 0 green flag laps in their tires. Kelly has about 1 or 2 would be my guess, and that's the same as Malarkey behind him. And they're running
I'm
at
going to
speed.
step away for just a moment. You're on your own for just a minute.
You got it. And then behind that is Fox, 0 green flag laps, and then behind that, same situation as Kelly and Malarkey. So the ones the worst off here are definitely Medina Senior and Stiers. Not dramatically, but 3 laps can add up here, especially if you were to stay green for these last 22 here. A lot can happen, and we've seen a lot of speed out of that 23 of Stiers, but where's Pierre's now? What happened to him? Oh, he's right. Okay. So that'll be fun as we get ready to go green, and one of the most hectic and unpredictable races I've seen in my entire life. Who knows what can happen in these last 22 laps as we get ready. Medina going to be the control car here. Great run by Stiers to stay with Medina the best he can. Probably the best one we've seen since the lead cars had the control. Behind them, Milliken and Angle with their fresh tires trying to control second, third, and fourth place. Malarkey looking to the top, already trying to get into positions here. Malarkey, we've talked about it, he always seems to find speed towards the end and middle portion of these races. So, man, be very afraid if that guy's able to do it. As Kelly loose outside of 2. This might be a 3-wide situation as Angle's going to fall down. Kelly looking to the inside, going to probably just try to hug the bottom here and not get into any incidents. Ooh, big moment there for the 55.
David Medina in control. Joey Stiers still wanting a piece of him. And you can see Sam Milliken starting to fade away. Milliken, Malarkey side by side with Pierce. Pierce really wants to get back up there and put his name into this thing. Zach Angle falling behind on that restart. Brandon Shelton and now Kyle Lynott making his way into the top 10, bringing his Gulf Coast teammate David Brenner, who's in 10th.
Good stuff there with Malarkey and Kelly. Super close racing. Malarkey just going for it. He got loose on the exit of 4 there and allowed Kelly to get the inside of him, and Kelly completes the pass. Barely any room to spare there, but he gets it done. That was a great move by Kelly. As Medina continues to lead this race, Stiers trying to stay as close to him as he can. We'll see if Stiers has anything for that 9. I mean, we've seen what can happen so quick with Medina when he gets the lead and gets clean air.
Let's see how quickly Kelly can make work of Milliken. Remember, that wall affects these drivers so much, but with these fresher tires, I think Kelly will be able to push through it. Watch him here. He's got that draft. We got this in-car. He wants to peak down low, but then he's going to run into that dirty air coming across the start-finish, going into the grid. He goes down hard, and look how quickly he busts through that barrier.
Great move by Kelly, and you can tell Kelly wanting to make quick work of this field with Landry, the fastest car outside of him in this race behind him now. Landry actually got that damage repaired somehow. He is back out here and making passes, doing a great job. I don't know how Landry always seems to be able to do that. But anyway, Kelly, I think, really wants to not let Medina get too far away. Needs to make these passes now and get through the field. Now has to get to Stiers in second place, and then he can set his sights on that 9 car.
Yeah, Landry is a lap down, so he is going to need a miracle. He is the lead, the lucky dog candidate, A caution would get him back on that lead lap. Up front, though, Medina slowly pulling away from Joey Stiers. And now that Jared Kelly has that open air, he is going to start making his charge. Meanwhile, Pierce and Malarkey side by side. Pierce dips down below. Oh, he goes to the second line on that apron to pull off that pass. Great move by the 46, continuing his assault on the field. 46 into fourth place.
Yeah, Pierre's doing a great job right now. Speaking of people doing a great job, Kyle Lynott, a few spots back, we've seen this guy up and down the field today. He had to do an alternate strategy after his early incidents that forced him to the back of the field. He has since been through the ringer, been up and down the field, and has worked his way to be on equal ground than anybody else on tires, and now in sixth place. Going to have a chance at this thing at a track that he has shown to be extremely quick at. So keep your eye on Lynott as well. He has been fantastic throughout this race.
He's going to have to get by Justin Malarkey and Thomas Pierce before he thinks about any of that, not to mention the syndicate, Medina, Jared Kelly up front, and Joey Stiers as well. Heck of a race here today by the 23 Toyota driver of Joey Stiers. We are on lap 58, 18 laps to go. I'm imagining, what, one more time in the pits, Zach?
Maybe if this may be it, me and Gene. I think if you can make this last, you do. If there's a caution, I think you bring it in one more time if you have an extra set of tires, but if there's not, I think you're trying to stretch this one.
Terrifying
big hits, big hits. Milliken and Angle, big hits into the wall. Yellow's out.
Hey. All right, so a couple of things that's going to do. We just talked about it. Jason Landry going to be the recipient. He'll be back on the lead lap. Kevin Kyle can't be happy about that. He could have got back on, but instead, Landry going to make his way back onto the lead lap. We saw Milliken and Angle kind of fading backwards after they started on that second row. Not that they were slow, it's just that those other cars were just so fast. Angle and Milliken were showing top 15, top 12 speed, but boy, those top 5 guys are just moving.
Yeah, it's like you said, they just hadn't been up there yet in the day. And yeah, the difference between top 10 and top 5 and top 15 speed, as we saw earlier in this race, it's about 10 seconds after 10 laps. It's quite a bit, and it adds up quickly. I think that's what may have caused that wreck. Just in the Hornet's Nest, Milliken and Angle, not to my knowledge, do not think those are teammates. But just in a part of the field that
they share paint now. They might not be teammates, but they're sharing some paint.
They definitely do. They definitely do. Coming closer and closer every day. But here we go, Mean Gene. Pay windows open in terms of the pits. Like I said, if you have another set, now might be the time.
Well, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Owens and Vulpes, they're still attached to hip at 12 and 13. Lynott and Brenner up there at 6 and 10. Did the Gulf Coast guys do their own thing again? I think they got lucky with this last group of pits. Is it a fake or is it for real?
Medina's faking, I think. No, he's not.
It's real.
And who stayed out there? That's Kelly.
That's the 55. Jared Kelly said, no. Oh, and look, Lynott doing the Gulf Coast thing again. Yep, and here they come.
So is his teammate. I think the only one who didn't really have a choice there was David Owens because he's walloped that wall so many times. He definitely needs some damage repair.
Lynott, Brenner, Vulpes, just David Owens goes into the pits. He goes his own way, but his Gulf Coast buddies once again gonna go damn the torpedoes and take it wide open. Jared Kelly up there as well. How about Rob Chowdhury and Matthew Serwick staying out? Edward Pelt's going to stay out, improve his position up to 7th. And then you can see the 69 there of Michael Benton. Hail Hydra, my friend. Hail Hydra.
Get ready for some craziness because, yeah, it's going to be about 10th place back, I believe. We'll have fresh tires. So these guys are going to have a lot of ground to make up. And only about 14 laps will be my guess. I get why you do that if you're Lynott. You showed tons of speed earlier in this race on older tires. You know you can do it. Jared Kelly as well.
But the wall is there.
The wall is there.
Like if I'm Kelly, yeah. But those other guys, you just is it worth the extra 5 positions to get up into a spot where you know you're just going to hit that damn wall and you can't make the pass, and then eventually your tires wear out, trucking up. We've already seen it happen. It happened to Owens, then Vulpes, then Lynott, where they went from the front all the way back to 10th, 11th, and just kept fading until a caution stopped the bleeding. So I'm not sure. We've seen them try this twice. It hasn't paid off. At this point, you got to start thinking Jared Kelly, clean air, might be his day.
I will say too, though, Mean Gene, and this is a big thing about this, is that first time that we saw that happen, that was only 3 cars, and so it just made it a lot easier to pick those 3 apart and send them back through the field.
Oh, now it's 7.
This is 7. Yeah, more than double. I can do that math. So that really complicates it. That really gives Lynott and Kelly a beautiful cushion to drive away and hopefully get far enough away to where the fresh tire cars, once they do work through those other 5, don't have enough time. But yeah, if you're an Edward Peltz, Skorwick, Chattery, have fun, boys. It's gonna be an experience.
Yeah, it's a 3-hook line, and you're the first bit of bait on the end of the hook.
Yeah,
all right, so there we go. You can see Medina rolling up into 8th as they start to make their way in. Then you got Stiers and Malarkey are going to line up 9-10. Jake Shea, Thomas Pierce. Look at this. Pierce right behind Joey Stiers.
Oh,
very exciting
boy.
Restart opportunity.
Keep your eye on those 2. Keep your
54
eye
of
on that
Jose
46.
Medina. Haven't talked about him very much. Medina now being shown in 13th, side by side with Brandon Shelton, Tommy Fotts, Matthew Smith, and Ricky Mandela. So, middle of the field, still in the middle of the field, top of the field on old tires. It's going to be a drag race. If Lynott or Kelly can make this move here at the get-go, they'll be the guy to beat. Vulpes and Brenner are going to make that decision. No, sir. Do you think David Brenner might burp it a few times so Vulpes can push Lynott a little harder?
He'd never.
Never. You would never help your teammate in a way like that, would you?
No, that's nonsense.
I wouldn't, because I never start that far up in the front.
I was going to say that we've seen Lynott and Vulpes work so well together on restarts all day. So,
I mean, they're in Discord. They're talking.
Yep, but I look for the trickery from Kelly. He's not stupid. He knows the situation. He's going to probably go as late in that box as he possibly can, or early.
Well, what he needs to do, is throw off the speed of Lynott and smash Lynott in the wall.
Do something unpredictable here, Jared. Let's see what the 55 of Kelly, and look how far back Brenner is. Oh, he goes right towards the end there. Great job by Kelly to defend there and neutralize the Gulf Coast Racing team.
Yeah, but look at Gulf Coast. Look at that dirty. They didn't even help him.
Oh, no. And Pierre's at Stiers. Oh, Pierre's wasted no time. Gets into Stiers. Stiers down the track.
Yeah, I knew it. Thank you, boys.
It took about 10 seconds and payback was served.
Wow. And look at Peltz get out of the way of Pierce. He saw that in his rear view. Said, nope, you go. You just go.
And here comes Lynott with a great run at it, too. Looking a little bit to the inside of Kelly. Kelly trying to maintain his momentum. Working a little bit higher there than Lynott, but Lynott showing tons of speed in second place. And back then, like the Jaws music, or cue the Jaws music, I see that black and red car in Medina on the inside. Only about 5 cars behind them. As Lynott going to look. Oh, he's not quite there. He's going to try to side draft.
They're side by side.
He pulls him in. What a great side draft by Lynott as they're going to enter one side by side.
He's through the wall. He's going to bring it down onto the apron. That's that line we talked about. It gives him the acceleration. Still side drafting, going into 4. Can Lynott get down and use that line? He does. Outside speed, and Kelly should hold off this blitz.
Kelly not allowing Lynott to fit a piece of paper between their 2 cars, just putting the absolute squeeze on, not letting Lynott drive out of that corner any way he wants to. And you saw that stalled out Lynott down the backstretch. Here we go. He's going to try it again. Same thing right here. Huge squeeze by the 55. Driving that thing down as far down as it will let him, and really not giving Lynott any space. But Lynott dives it in. He's going to try to clear out the nose of Kelly. He does it. Lynott to the lead.
Lynott is going to take the lead. Meanwhile, behind them, the fresh tires of David Medina trying to close the gap. Medina 1.5 seconds back, but he's got 2 Gulf Coast racing teams in between him and the land of unbridled optimism. But for now, Kyle Lynott, old tires, 2 teammates separating him from the fresh tires of Medina. Lap 64. Can he hold on for 12 more laps?
Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be
Here
real
comes
close.
Kelly, though. Kelly's not done with this. If Kelly's got any rubber on those tires, he's going to do to Lynott exactly what Lynott did. Hug that bottom. Question is, can Lynott use the dirty air and that apron to keep it? Vulpes not catching up. Brenner fading away. Medina needs to make a play now because he's got Malarkey right behind him, Rob Chowdhury, Matthew Zerwick, and the still surviving Joey Stiers.
Yeah, pretty impressive from Stiers. Lynott, or what we're seeing right now from Kelly, I think, is just how important that draft is. He is using that draft to stay with Lynott and make sure he has an opportunity at him. And I think that's also what really helped out Lynott create that opportunity for that pass. That draft is just so important, especially on those old tires when you guys are, for the most part, neutralized against each other. It's going to be pretty much everything about whether or not Medina can get up there, or Malarkey. Malarkey is following Medina through this field. He is right there as well, Mean Gene.
Yeah, Malarkey won just last weekend. Also fresh tires, gets by Brenner, fades back 2 spots. He's in between Malarkey and Chowdhury. You can see Sherwick and Joey Stiers. Stiers snake bit, now not wanting to get too aggressive with anybody after getting the short end of the stick with that exchange earlier with Thomas Pierce. Medina getting that push he needs, but it's a long way to go to get back up into that front. And Vulpes has run smooth all day. Lynott managing now to get a little bit of space between him and Kelly, but Kelly probably letting tires cool off to close that gap and make another assault.
Yeah, and Medina looking at about a 4-second deficit to our leader, so he's going to be need to make up the better part of a second for these next 10 laps to have a chance at it, because it's like we've said all day, all season, but I think it's more true at this track than anywhere else, me and Gene. It's one thing to catch him, it's another thing to pass him. Catching them with 1 to go, 2 to go will not be enough. You're going to need a couple laps to complete this pass. As you're seeing, Kelly, I think, has enough speed to make a run at Lynott. He just has not been able to line up the pass yet, so Medina needs to put those heaters on right now, needs to put down the best laps he has all day to have a chance at this thing. And Malarkey right there behind him. If there's a slip up, we're going to have that 73 with a chance to win this thing as well. So keep your eye on those 2 right now. And I think Kelly, too, knowing that situation, not wanting to go side by side with them, not and stall them out and take away both their chances to hold off that 9.
And Joe Vulpes also, he's got to be excited. If those 2 cars in front of him get together, he could be in a position to step his way up onto victory lane. I really think at this point, this stage of the race, this amount of wear and tear of rubber on your tires, Kelly is going to need to think about a little bit of a bump to send Lynott up out of the way. That dirty air, Zach, just so much of a wall. Vulpes touching the wall to make sure it's still there. Hey, yeah, Joe, it's there.
I agree. That might be what it takes to make
Just
that
a
pass,
bump,
but
not a
now
wreck.
Yeah.
Just a touch.
Now is just not the time, though. You got to wait until there's at least 2, 3 to go. Make sure that you've held off that 9 for long enough to figure it out amongst yourselves. We are not there yet. But look at this, actually. Lynott slipping up a little bit. Here comes Kelly to the inside.
Here we go. Now he's going to hit that dirty air wall. Side by side drafting. They bring it down the stretch. Kelly with a slight advantage. Lynott finally getting it. They're going to come into 3. And it's Jared Kelly with the move, hugging the apron. Back into the lead. Gulf Coast drivers 2 and 3. Jared Kelly takes it number 1. He's leading this thing.
Jared Kelly with a beautiful pass, and Lynott not able to defend on Kelly the same way Kelly was on Lynott. No squeeze there. He was just able to complete that pass right away. You see Kelly trying to break the draft there. And what I am seeing too, me and Gene, that lead back to those fresh tire cars, it's starting to neutralize a little bit. Kelly not hitting the bottom there, not hitting it at all, missing in the corner. Lynott's going to try to take advantage of that through turn 2.
Oh, and he slowly moves in. You can see that side drafting. Kelly giving him space, not wanting to wreck, side by side racing. And guess who Vulpes is going to choose to push? That's right, his teammate on the inside.
Yeah, Vulpes going to try to give a little bit of help to Lynott. You don't want to send him in too deep, though, because that can go straight into the 55 and ruin both their races. And like we talked about, they're side by side, and right just like that, Medina has joined this group. These guys getting side by side has completely stalled them out. And now this is about to be a group of 5 racing for the win with 2 different tire situations. I think they went a little bit too early in this battle. I know it's so hard to resist temptation, but look what it's done.
Wow. Here comes Medina. He's going to give Kelly a slight tap. Look at the push Kelly gets going
Kelly's too
into
deep.
the
Kelly's
turn.
too deep.
But he's way too high, way too deep. Volpus makes contact with Medina. Malarkey now, 5 cars, single file, going for this win. 6 laps to go here at Indianapolis.
Talk about that wall of air. Look what that just did to David Medina. He gave Kelly a little bit of push there, sent him in too deep, but wasn't even able to take advantage of Volpus during that process. Going back into 4th place, has to start over to make this charge here. This is how Lynott or Kelly will protect this and win this race, is by trying to just protect that air over Medina and not give him any advantageous lines.
You know, meanwhile, while we were watching this, Joey Stiers has managed to pass 3 cars, make his way up into 6th place. Right now, Stiers side by side. David Brenner going the wrong way in this race. But don't look too far back, because right behind our hero Joey, you can see Thomas Pierce charging on that inside as well. Up front, though, those top 5 cars putting on a show for us.
Yeah, we got to keep our eye on that as well. Stiers doing a great job, and if these guys get back to battling, Stiers might be able to catch them, but it's going to take that. They are single file again, and when they get single file, Dave Medina can't do much. He is really just stuck back there in 4th place. But man, we saw how quick it happens when they get side by side. I wonder what that did to Kelly and Lynott's mentality on if they want to try that again, or if they want to wait until there's about 2 to go to consider trying that type of stuff again. But if Lynott makes a mistake again, I get it. If you're Kelly, it's too much. It's too much temptation to fight off. As Volpus loose out of 4 right there, and that's going to let Medina take advantage of that. Now only 2 cars separating Medina from the lead.
And Malarkey as well, able to take advantage, drafts up behind Volpus, swerves outside, takes over. Kelly loose. That is no good, and I don't think that Kelly or Medina is going to be as kind to Kelly as Volpus has been to Lynott. So that margin of error for Kelly much smaller now with the fresher tires of Medina right behind him. Kelly has to make sure that his opportunity is really there, because if he makes that move and runs into that wall, you know Medina's going to eat him alive.
The margin of error is essentially non-existent right now. It will cost you a place, and it will likely cost you your chance to win this race. Kelly is driving in a little bit deep, getting caught in that wake of dirty air and the power of the draft as he approaches Lynott towards the end of the straightaway. Just so much speed built up in that 55. He needs to back it up a little bit more than what probably feels natural. But if he lets that happen again, he goes too high up at that corner. I think that's all that Nine's going to have to see to want to take advantage of that and give himself a chance at this. Only 3 to go now as Lynott doing everything he needs to. Kelly loose on exit. Medina's going to try to give it a shot on the top there. Kelly did a great job making sure he can keep the advantageous line, but he's not able to maintain his position. Medina with 1 car left as he gets past Kelly. Lynott just needs to hold on for 2.5 laps.
Fresh tires of David Medina now has Kyle Lynott square in his sights. Single file racing all the way back through this field. The action is here where we have the camera. Lynott, Medina coming in side by side. Kelly, Malarkey. Malarkey goes down low, hugs the apron, makes the move. Kelly tries to crossover, gets loose, has to fall back into line. It is David Medina versus Kyle Lynott. Fresh tires versus weird strategy going into the turn.
And Lynott doing everything he needs to. He just needs to hit his marks, me and Gene. If David Medina wants to attempt the pass on the outside, then so be it. Just don't give him the inside. Your chance of fighting him is essentially over if you give him that. Lynott blocking down the backstretch, doing everything he can not to give David the line he wants. Look at that. Kyle really, really showing him, I'm taking the bottom, buddy. You're not getting it.
Medina using the draft as they come into turn 3. Both cars below the white line, finding that best entry and exit speed. Medina now using the bumper. This is what I thought it would take. Lynott survives the push. Gonna come out with a slight lead.
That just wasn't timed the way he needed to, as we see the white flag this time. Just 4 more sets of corners for Kyle Lynott to go back-to-back here at Indianapolis, first with Wednesday in the MRL, and now today. This will be a big moment for him. He just needs to hold on. I know that Medina went for the bump there. It was just mistimed. It was at the the entrance of 4. If he's going to do it, he probably wants to do it in the entrance of 3, where he has the most momentum built up. Here we go down the backstretch for the last time.
Lynott, he hasn't won since Watkins Glen last year. Would love to get that save. Here comes that last charge by Medina going into 3.
This is where Medina's going to want to do it if he's going to bump him at all. Medina checks up, doesn't bump Lynott, gives him the space. A class move by Medina. We'll see going into 4 if he has anything for him. He does. He bumps Lynott, bumps him once, bumps him twice. Lynott keeps the bottom, somehow hugs the bottom. Is going to come out of 4 and maintain the lead. Kyle Lynott with a masterful job from the front to the back, could not be killed, and is going to win at the Yard of Bricks over Dave Medina.
What a finish. Medina, the door was open. He needed to use the bumper, chose not to, and that is the difference between victory lane and second place on the podium. Justin Malarkey gonna come in 3rd. Great run by Malarkey. Kelly 4th. Joey Stiers 5th. Brenner 6th. Volpus holds on for 7th. Thomas Pierce 8th. Rob Chowdhury 9th. Brandon Shelton 10th. But the story of the day, how about it for Kyle Lynott? He's been looking since Watkins Glen last year. Won Wednesday night Xfinity at Indianapolis, and here he is again up at the top. You know this man has got to be excited.
And Lynott is on a hot streak right now, and not to mention Thursday, right? He had a hot run on Thursday, caught some bad luck, but man, he had a chance to win that race too. Everywhere Lynott's gone lately, he's had a chance to win. And also, let's mention our in-season tournament champion right there behind Lynott, Jared Kelly. Congratulations to him. I know he probably won that win today. And oh man, Pierre's and Stiers are going at it in the pits right now.
Oh, there's a line of people.
Wow.
Rose was down there pretending he was going to go after somebody. And then you got Stiers. He's talking madness toward Thomas Pierce. It's a lot of fun here today at Indianapolis, but only one guy gets to celebrate with the lukewarm milk.
So that's how you do. So that's how you
well,
do.
Look at him.
These smaller tracks. Lessons for me, for those who saw my Thursday burnout, wasn't my best work. This is a nice one.
Well, you had that sideways drive going for a minute.
I know that's hard to do. It's easier in the next gens, I won't lie, but it's hard to do.
Look at that. Look at that.
Look at that. That looks good. And then behind him, starting his burnout, our in-season tournament champion, Jared Kelly. Sorry, I got distracted with Pierre's there. But congratulations to him as well. Kevin Kyle, just bad luck, start to finish today. Kelly did what he had to do, had a chance to win this thing, and just didn't really have the tire strategy at the end to give him the chance that he needed, really, but did the best he could, and comes out with an in-season tournament championship.
All right, he's breathing heavy, and he's still in his car, but I got a surprise for you, Zach.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I got the 988 right here.
Oh, what's up?
Go for it.
Kyle Lynott, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. That was a heck of a battle at the end there with Senior. Always showing grace and professional racing, but man, I was driving my rear end off like no other.
Yeah, you really were. That was impressive. I mean, few questions about how your day went. So we saw you do an alternate strategy, I'm assuming because you picked up damage at the beginning and kind of just had to do your own thing from that point on. But because you were definitely, out of your Gulf Coast teammates, by far the best at running those old tires. Did that give you the confidence you needed to run that strategy to end the race?
Honestly, I just love this track. Indianapolis has always been one of my favorite tracks to go to. I always seem to run well here. There's something about turns 2 and 4 that always allow me to be a little bit quicker than everybody down the straightaways, and I use that to my advantage getting into 1 and 3. But my guys they're really good. We had a great strategy going. It wasn't necessarily what we wanted to be doing, especially with how the caution started to fall, but it seemed to work out to our advantage, especially there at the end.
Yeah, it was at the moment me and GM were thinking like, what is going on? But wow, that certainly did work out at the end. And then, oh man, take me through those last 2 laps there, and what did those bumps feel like that Medina gave to you going through 4, they looked like they were somewhat friendly, like not trying to turn you or anything. But what were you feeling in that race car?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just as soon as Medina got past everybody and was right behind me, I knew I was gonna have to fight for it. And like I said, he always shows grace. He's definitely one of the better drivers out there in the league, and he always shows patience when he's running. So you have to be smart, and you have to kind of think like he's going to be thinking and where he's going to be trying to get a good advantage at. And, the bumps I knew were coming. So I tried to line myself up the best that I could so I didn't have too much steering input. And it worked. I was able to hold him off and get some good runs out of the corners to where he wasn't able to get a good run to, get on my inside.
Yeah, and great job pretending that inside. That was really, really good work. But dude, yeah, you clearly have something figured out at this racetrack. Amazing job. I heard you got it done on Wednesday as well. Congratulations on that. You've been lights out all week, so good job, man. And awesome to see you get it done here. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we get out of here?
First off, you guys in the broadcast booth, I want to say thanks for everything you guys do. You guys always make it fun week in and week out, and I look forward to watching. Even though my season hasn't been going the best, I had some pretty bad finishes throughout the year. I've always enjoyed watching you guys, and then I want to shout out my teammates over at GCR. They have faith in what I do at this track, and I have faith in what they do at other tracks. So being able to work with each other and just help each other along the way. And then, of course, between Jared Kelly and Medina Senior, Joey Stiers, I know he didn't have a great run at the end, especially with the fun racing that he had with Thomas there. But those three, they always seem to have great runs, especially at the end of the race. But they are always fast no matter where we go. So being able to outpace them at Indianapolis, I thought it was fun. But I just want to say thanks to everybody with what they do out there. It's always fun.
Well, thank you for the kind words, man, and congratulations to the W. What an awesome week for you, and enjoy it, dude.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Kyle, before you go, you're only 8 points back of 12th spot.
Yeah, I was talking to the guys about it, and I know I need to have a good run at Talladega. Everybody else on GCR is pretty well in the standings, so I'm hoping that we can work together to where I can finish up front again. And I don't want to wish bad luck on anybody, but maybe a couple guys that I'm fighting to get into the top 12 against don't have that great of a day to where I can kind of sneak my way in there, especially with the dismal season that I've had. So to be only 8 points out of the top 12, I'm very happy about that.
Well, you got to just find inspiration where you can. I noticed that you have a quote there on your helmet from one of your heroes. What is that? Sorry for the miscalculation of my acceleration.
Yeah,
Really good.
sorry for the miscalculation of my acceleration. It comes from a long time ago when me and Owens were racing, and he was way faster than me, and I got a little loose coming out of a corner, and he ran right square into the back of me, spun me around in a full 360. I kept it going, and I think we still managed to finish 1-2, but it was like right there in the last 5, 6, 7 laps of the race. And it was just it was funny. It was we talked in the garage about it, and that was his quote, and it's just kind of stuck with me. It's made me chuckle ever since.
Well, I hope that y'all can keep that lightheartedness going into next week. Great win today, man. Good luck. 8 points, man, between you and that next round. I think you can do it, bud.
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to next week.
Well,
What a great
awesome
quote.
job.
What a
Yeah,
great
it's
quote.
hilarious. That's honestly hilarious. I love that. What a professional way to say I effed up.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, and here we got the camera on the little bit of drama going down pit road at the end of this thing. That was fun. Wow, what a day, Mean Gene.
Yeah, I mean, we came into this track. Indianapolis is known for a little bit of pack racing, but mostly it just spreads out, and you see all that single file, dirty air often robbing us of some side by side action, causing contact. But instead, we see clean racing, hard dives, and just skill. if you could get down, touch that white line, you could hold your line and maintain. But as soon as you miscalculate, tires wear, car trucks, that's when we saw those passes made. Super exciting end to that one.
Yeah, it
I mean,
really
Kyle
was.
had what? Two, like he got past. He got past and then took
Mhm.
it back. And
Got
then
passed
had to
by
deal with
Kelly, took
Medina.
it back, and then had to hold off Medina. Talk about earning it.
I mean, he probably needs some Gatorade.
Yeah, I'd say maybe something else. It's a Sunday. Let's have some fun. Speaking
Yeah,
of, it's
we're
a Sunday,
gonna.
me and Gene. What are we about to do in a half hour? As we
I'll
have
tell you
our
what.
not standing, I'm sorry, our finishing order on screen there. Great finishes for a lot of these guys. Shout out to Skirwick. I just heard from him. That was his best career league finish. BRL, MRL, other leagues. So shout out to him. Really proud of him for that one. Steyer's really starting to put together those finishes now. Back-to-back good runs there. 5th place today. So keep your eye on him as the playoff picture gets tighter as we get closer to the end of these. And man, this was an unpredictable one, start to finish, and never really calmed down or became a clear picture. And I'm looking also, where did Landry end up finishing? 11th on the lead lap. Like we said, he got that wave around. That means he drove through cars with the ancient tires. Gosh, that guy is talented.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
there you go.
after race number 9 next week will be the regular season finale. It is a points only situation. So, no winning you're in. You got to get in on points. Top 6 drivers do not move in standings after this result. So, Medina still up at the top of the board. He's got that 8-point lead over Jared Kelly. Has to feel good. Big gap of 18 points down to Landry, David Brenner, Joe Volpus, David Owens. What is this? A Gulf Coast Racing retirement home. As you can see, 4, 5, and 6 all jammed together. Justin Malarkey, Kevin Kyle. And then here's
Stop
where it
there. I
gets
mean, yeah, no, yeah, stop there.
interesting.
Yeah, this is insane. Right here is absolutely insane. Look at that, Mean Gene. You have 235 on 9th place, and then 230, 229, and then here's the end of the playoffs, right? So this is the first playoff spot. 220, or the last playoff spot, I'm sorry. 225, and then tied again, just like last week. 225 again for Ricky Mandela. Tommy Fox only 6 points behind there. And like you just said, Lynott only 8. Yeah, 8. Oh my gosh.
And
Peltz is there too.
exactly. And a David Buell who missed today's race, or he would be up there. He dropped 5 spots.
And Steyers, he could win. And if he wins, that's probably 40, 50 points. So you never really know. Because, yeah, we're going to Talladega next week to round out this regular season. So anything can happen. And on top of that, oh my goodness, it's so, so tight. The playoff picture could not be any less clear in terms of, I'll even say Kevin Kyle. I know he has a really nice 12-point buffer, but if he runs into early incidents at Talladega, he won't be enjoying that next hour of that race.
No, nobody likes to run around Talladega by themselves.
Especially when you're thinking about points and things you can't control.
Yeah, doing math, your mind's going wild. You look like that crazy lady in the Facebook meme
Yeah, exactly.
with the math circle in your head. And being as it's Talladega, this could be almost anybody's race. Any of those guys that you've seen be able to withstand the push, they could be up there in the front. But unless you got teammates, you're going to get bailed on pretty quick. So you got to look at Folcom sticking together, Gulf Coast Racing together. Uh, while not officially a member, Jared Kelly has a great relationship with those Folcom guys. So I would imagine they would go with him before they would go with a Milliken or a Smurrell or a Neal or an Angle. Mandela, also a rookie. That guy might get left out to dry. Tommy Fox, he's a buddy of those Gulf Coast guys. Um, so you never know how it's going to work going in there. I mean, for all we know, we could be talking about a Mark Dumont passing Rob Chowdhury for the win next week. Talladega's a madhouse.
One of those circumstances where I'm really happy we don't have win you're in this league, because it's just going to make it that much more intriguing to have to points race at Talladega and not see people doing insane things when they're in 23rd in the standings and just thinking, oh, this is my chance. It's going to be respectful Talladega. I think it's going to be fun. I'm really, really excited. And we've seen all year this league knows how to race together as long as they're not under yellow, I guess.
What are you
That's
trying?
when the
You trying
issues
to call
happen.
out the guy in
Um,
23rd?
I know. I just
You
realized who that is. I just
You
realized.
think
who
that guy's going to do something crazy?
Yeah, I do.
Last
I
time,
do.
last time he was on a super speedway, it was Daytona, and he spun out uh, Dennis Puckett.
Hey,
So maybe that's
Well,
what Puckett got even with him when he
yeah.
spun and came back on the track.
Memory
He
of an
said,
elephant.
I owe you this one, rookie. Welcome to the league."
That's impressive if he did.
He hit him so hard the rookie stripe fell off.
Exactly.
Lord of mercy. I'll tell you what, Zach, heck of a race. Glad that I got to see it. Cannot believe that finish. And man, bravo to Kyle, man, winning Wednesday and then doubling down and winning here today as well. Just guys on fire. I hope he keeps that speed up next weekend. 8 points between him and a playoff run.
Yeah, Kyle is such a streaky racer, and I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I
He
remember,
drives naked.
yeah, well, that's besides the point. That he is a streaky racer in that point, or in that way as well. Yes. But I think it was like 2 years ago. I was racing in the MRL Truck Series, and he was his normal, good Kyle and not self all season, routing off top fives or win every now and then, and then he got 4 in a row, and
Wow.
it made the championship pretty straightforward. He Man, when Kyle Not gets some confidence underneath him, he becomes very dangerous. And I've seen it before, and man, I'm glad that I'm only dealing with it one day a week right now. Because yeah, he had speed to beat me on Thursday, and luckily he had the bad luck that prevented him from doing it. But man, he is really impressive right now, and he also is one of those guys. I'm a lot like Not in this way, where he has tracks circled on his calendar, and he puts a lot of pressure on himself to get it done at those tracks. And that could be a bad or good thing, but more often than not, you see Lynott when he visits his favorite tracks, he is able to get it done. And today was no exception. And yeah, I would not be surprised to see him get it done next week. He's a great super speedway racer. Get it done this week, get those 8 points. That's really what he's been racing for. Get those 8 points, get himself in the playoffs, and give himself a chance at this championship when we reset everything. But that was a fun one. If you can pull up that intermission screen back up, Jared, that'd be great. Because now, in about 30 minutes, we are going to be going live on the Vortex Racing Network YouTube channel to be doing some live streaming of the Circuit of the Americas race today, the Cup Series race. It is going to be a fun one. Like we talked about, tons of stories. So scan that QR code on the bottom left if you want to go straight to the YouTube channel and give us a subscribe. And then, or just type in that address right there in your search bar, and you will go to our YouTube channel. Check the live section in about 20-30 minutes. You'll see us there. And make sure that you're subscribed, because you have to be a subscriber to win any of the giveaways that we'll be doing with our live chat today. But we're excited to hang out with them, with all you guys. We've been doing great numbers the past 2 weeks, and it's a great time hanging out with everybody. And tonight's going to be another fun race. And man, these are just such a amazing way to get the morning started off and get ready for some Cup Series racing with NASCAR, because the BRN has consistently just been giving us amazing shows week after week, and
Big field.
it's really just an amazing combo. And big fields at difficult tracks too. Oftentimes at places like Donington, Mandy, that's where you see the field shrink, and not here. Everyone having the guts to do their best, and a lot of great racing today, and a lot of people I think are going to be better drivers because of it. So any final thoughts before we head on over to Texas, Mean Gene?
It was really fun to watch. Different strategy. I think Gulf Coast, they went for the bomb to stick around, knowing that just following the status quo was not going to help them. Cautions ended up closing up that field, and the driving of Kyle Lynott just has me excited. And some of the rivalry. I don't think the early crashes are going to carry over, but really curious to see what's going to happen with Joey and the 23 and the 46 of Thomas Pierce moving forward. Always fun to see what happens, because a tiny little wiggle can turn into devastation, and it's not your fault. It just happens. It just happens. But race 10, regular season, no win and you're in. Cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. And yeah, I'm not complaining about any of the drama that we keep getting. Keeps making these races more and more fun and eventful, even under caution, like we talked about. Today was a crazy one. Kevin Kyle is going to have his plate full with some conversations he's going to have with these boys to make sure that we have as clean
No videos,
an
though.
out. No, I think he learned his lesson there. I think you're going to think he learned his lesson there. We should have played that in there. But it's going to be a great one next week, and it's like we talked about, it's going to be points racing at a super speedway, something I haven't seen in decades, if we're being honest. So it's going to be really, really cool to see, and with tons of guys, chances at this playoffs and playoff points not playing a huge role to where you're going to have the same chance as a Medina, a Kelly, or a Landry at that championship. It is a big one next weekend. So next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super excited. Can't wait to hang out with all you guys at Coda, and I'm sure we'll be doing some cup racing together then next week as well. But it's been another great one. Congratulations to Kyle Lanat on an amazing win, an amazing week. Congratulations to Jared Kelly on the in-season tournament championship. That was super, super fun to cover in this mid-portion of the season. Gave us something else to race for and watch closely, and that was a lot of fun, and went to another great winner, and definitely someone who's going to be a contender for our main championship anyway. So we are excited. Oh yeah, I was going to miss the first race, but we'll see how that goes. We've seen crazier things happen in this league, so you never know. But until next week, and until about 20-30 minutes from now, when you'll see all our faces making asses of ourselves watching Coda. Thank you all for joining us for another amazing Sunday night of racing. Oh, and thank you to Animal House Customs, our amazing sponsor, for making all this possible. We're having the best time, and thank you to BRL and BRN for this incredible network that we can do this broadcast on. We will see you guys over in BRN a little bit, and we'll see you next weekend over at Talladega.